a warm welcome to all of you. My name is Joanne Yarwich. I'm the Chief Executive of the NBI. On behalf of both NBI and the University of Stellenbosch Business School, who is one of our newest members, I really want to welcome you to what is, I think, one of the most critical conversations for business in South Africa today. We're approaching our the fifth democratic election in South Africa, and we come from a background and a history where we had no human rights. This country had no human rights until 25 years ago. And the fact that we adopted a constitution that is firmly founded in a human rights perspective and that bestows on all of us a set of both rights and obligations. I think for the business community in particular, as an institution in society that has great reach and great power, confers great responsibilities. And I think that 25 years on, it is an appropriate time for us to say to what extent have we realized our responsibility as the corporate sector in relation to the issues of human rights, and where have we succeeded and where have we failed, and what is it that we need to do going forward. And I really think it is a very fundamental question that we all need to ask ourselves. We live in a very divided society. We have a very noisy and robust democracy, and we have quite a silent business community. And I think that all of those factors raise some very important questions about what we should be doing going forward. From the NBI perspective, we run a transformation program that looks at really the issues internal to corporates. Look at the issues of the power relations inside corporates, issues of the way that race, gender, and class play out in the organizations within which we are based. And have been trying over the last year to bring together our corporate members to both look at where we should be going in terms of the transformation issues, and to work out how we start to build a core of leadership within the corporate sector that can be very vocal about these issues. So I see this conversation, and thank you very much to the University of Stellenbosch Business School for partnering with us and for bringing, I suppose, the world of academia into a partnership with business, which is another really important thing that we need to be doing much more of in the society, to ask critical questions for all of us. I also, at the outset, want to really thank Bowmans for giving us this beautiful auditorium in which to hold this, and for making their facilities available to us. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Brian Ganson. I head the Africa Center for Dispute Settlement at the University of Stellenbosch Business School. I'll be your moderator this morning. First of all, I want to thank NBI for their partnership, the panelists for being here, and most of all of you. Just a couple thoughts to position what we hope to do this morning. I think it's fair to say that business and the positive development of human rights is a foreign concept to this part of the world. We go back in our very history and we raise names like the Dutch East India Company, Cecil Rhodes in the early De Beers Empire, the British South Africa Company, and we are reminded that the private sector at scale in this part of the world is not only been silent, but has been an affirmative denier of human rights, a tool of imperialism, of colonialism, later of apartheid. And that's a heavy legacy that we have to cope with. We have to look and see where is the shadow of the past still infecting our present, so that we can liberate ourselves from it. That means we're going to have to do a couple of things. It's going to be a difficult conversation because to unbundle these issues, we can't only talk about business itself. The private sector is business, but it's also the laws and the regulations. It is the courts and the Title IX institutions. It is the financial system. It's the international trade system. And so we're going to have to deal with a little bit of complexity here this morning. But I also want to suggest that it's not just the technical aspects that we're going to have to dig into. One of the things that strikes me is that we often talk about human rights in relationship to government's responsibility. And that's right. We have a government to promote our human dignity and our human development. That's the primary role of government. But it's not enough. Right? We need, I believe, I would advocate here this morning to open up the conversation of what are our responsibilities to each other as individuals, as communities, as organizations, between businesses and businesses, between businesses and communities, between business and society. And that means it's not only a difficult conversation we need to have, but a courageous one, because we need to look at ourselves and say, well, I wake up every morning complaining about, and legitimately complaining about shortfallings of certain actors in government or certain actors in business. But what am I doing? How am I honoring my commitment to live under a constitution that promises human rights for all in South Africa? Our aspiration here today is to begin a conversation, to see if we can begin to imagine a private sector 2.0. To do that, we're going to get some reflections from our panelists, and then, of course, try to involve you in the conversation, as awkward it is the way we're seated, but we'll see how well we can do that, and advance the conversation. I am so pleased to have Prof. Thuli Madonsela, currently with the University of Stellenbosch Faculty of Law, here with us to provide some opening reflections. So with no further ado, Prof. Thuli, thank you, and maybe you can get us started.